The Derby della Madonnina has returned to the UEFA Champions League for the first time in a long time. Try saying that 5 times fast. Let's talk about AC Milan taking on Inter Milan in one moment.
Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Extra Time TV. This is Andre Sooklal, and the UEFA semi-finals have returned in the UEFA Champions League. AC Milan take on Inter Milan, and yes, it's been a while since these teams have faced each other. I was going to say it, but you know what? I'm going to put in the comment section below the option for one of you to comment in the comment section below and let me know the last 2 times these 2 teams faced each other off. In fact, I'm going to give you guys one. It was in the 2005 season in the quarterfinals, and that's it. If you can fill out the other information as well, you'll qualify for a draw to win a possible prize, maybe a FIFA 23, or if that's not cool enough because FIFA is no longer going to be a thing, maybe a jersey of your choice, and we'll have it shipped to you. And I'd like to say a special thank you to the previous winners and everybody else. So we're going to head straight into the game. So we're going to break it down really simple and try to condense it as much as possible. For a more detailed analysis of this, you can head over to EXTVmedia.com, where you can take a look at our match preview. We'll put a link in the description below as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And we do our streams occasionally on Twitch and lots of things like that. And we have some fun content and also some surprises from myself coming up, which we'll keep secret. And one of my favorites, an interview with Thomas Rongan, who's been featured in the upcoming movie by Taika Waititi, being played by Michael Fassbender. Thomas Rongan's story of when he coached America Samoa is being told. We have a wonderful interview. Check that out. So let's get into the football. So we'll start things off with Inter Milan and how their campaigns have gone so far. Inter Milan have had a very interesting domestic season and European season. They have been tremendously inconsistent. They have not been performing at the best throughout the entire season. However, in recent weeks, Inter Milan has found form and have won their last 5 games in all competitions, if I'm not mistaken. They have been doing really well. Today, they defeated Roma, a very difficult Roma. Yes, they had some injuries. Jose Mourinho and his men have had quite a season, and I think it shows that Mourinho still has it. Whether you want to talk about that or not, that's another story. But that victory today gets them back into sealing the UEFA Champions League spot. Now, is it far from certain? Of course, it's still mathematically possible for them to fall out that spot, but it certainly doesn't help, and it has Inter in 4th position, only separated by goal difference from Juventus, Lazio, and the current winners, Napoli. Congratulations to them winning the the Serie A for the first time since 1990 with Diego Armando Maradona. It was a beautiful time seeing that stadium, that particular stadium. Maradona, didn't get to see that. He didn't get to see Argentina win the World Cup, but maybe he's looking at it, in the great football field in the sky. So we're gonna head into the football now. So Inter Milan have been tremendously inconsistent. Goal scoring has been a problem for them consistently. Inzaghi, a lot of people are calling for his head. They had a bad run of losses at the turn of the year. Their strikers were not performing. Lukaku was injured and absent for a lot of the season. Joaquin Correa has not been firing on all cylinders. Dzeko looked like a lot of people say he was done, and it just was not working. Lautaro Martinez was probably the only goal-scoring outlet, and even though he had a burst of goals coming out from the World Cup that he won, it sort of dipped, and the rest of the team just didn't contribute. However, in recent weeks, they have resurrected that form, and while they were inconsistent in Serie A and the Champions League, they managed to negotiate from a very difficult group and get out of it with Bayern Munich and Barcelona. And it was, when I saw that group, I thought it was going to be very difficult for them, but they made it out. And I think playing against teams like Bayern Munich really kind of helped get them up to speed. But the point I'm trying to make is that Inzaghi, for the most part, seems to be a master of the knockout competition format. And, to his benefit and detriment, a lot of people were joking and saying Antonio Conte should be hired for the league and Inzaghi should be hired for knockout competitions. Inter Milan are doing well. They won't win the Serie A, obviously, but they're trying to secure the Champions League spot by getting into that top 3 spots, which is very doable after that win today against Roma with goals from Lukaku and De Marco. But they are in the final of the Coppa Italia, the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, and seem to be hitting form at the right time. This is a great thing for Inter Milan fans because it seems like Lukaku has rediscovered his goal-scoring form. Lautaro Martinez and Lukaku forming the Lula combination seems to be coming back. Dzeko seems to be contributing goals, even though Correa doesn't score a lot of goals. He seems to be finding that confidence. And, Inzaghi is rotating his squad really well. And I think he's doing a good job, not just rotating his squad, but getting them to have that confidence. And you could see it in their style of play. And speaking about their style of play, which is our next component, that's how we'll do it. We'll break it down with their form so far, style of play, how they play, which is basically the same thing, and key players. And we'll do that for all teams and try to keep it as condensed as possible. Inzaghi loves it three at the back. What's unique about how Inzaghi plays is how he sets up his midfield. We all know with the three at the back systems, the wing backs have to attack. He has Darmian, he has Dumfries. He also has the young Belanova, who has been really good, and DeMarco, who has been outstanding. A lot of people, when Perisic left, because he played that left side kind of wing-back dominating position, where he could go from offense to defense, was a bit of a concern for Inter. But that's something that has really improved. But the way how the midfield has been set out is interesting, because he usually plays with one defensive midfielder with two advanced, creative, attacking midfielders, usually Mkhitaryan, Chalangulo, and it's exciting because it gives him a lot of variation with two forwards up front, and he tends to, most of the season it seemed, and I'm guessing it's because of the injury to Lukaku. I'm not guessing, that's what it is. Dzeko and Lautaro were preferred up front. We all know Dzeko is getting up there in age, and it's very difficult for him to play all games all the time. And that's kind of the formation. That's kind of what he likes to do. And with all the strikers in form right now, I could easily see him returning to the favored Lula, Lautaro Martinez, and Lukaku. A lot of people are saying Dzeko, but you can let me know your predicted lineups in the thing below, in the comment section below. So that's how Inzaghi likes to play. He likes to rotate his wing backs, and he's doing a good job right now rotating them through competition. Inter Milan has always been a team that I have criticized for not being able in recent years to handle multiple competitions. I think when they got knocked out of the Champions League, it served them well when Conte was there. But I think Inzaghi, although he has not had the greatest season, seems to be finding that right form. And it's a team that's very tricky while tremendously inconsistent. They seem to have found that form that you need at the right time of the season, and they have to be positive heading into this tie with AC Milan. The last time both teams met, Inter came out victorious, especially in the Super Copa final. They defeated them 3-0 convincingly, and while form plays a factor, you never know what's going to happen in a knock-on competition. But you have to figure that Inzaghi will be fancying his chances heading into this. As for the key players, this is quite difficult because Inter definitely has a lot of players that can change the game on the day. Some really talented players. The problem is consistency. They haven't been doing it consistently. And while I would probably lean to Onana as well, it's very difficult to narrow it down to one player. I would say the Argentine Lautaro Martinez, because of his consistency. Because make no mistake, this is a very talented team. But Lautaro Martinez, while this team has been struggling, has been the rare ray of light along with Barella and a couple others. But getting those goals, but in addition to those goals, even though he's not the most clinical striker, he's able to attract players towards him and add characteristics that are not just about goal scoring. He can play off the ball, he can do that hold-up play, he can drop deep, he's not afraid to get stuck in and use that grit or grinta, as they say, and he has that extra gear in him in terms of aggression to really get things done. I think his footballing IQ is very high, while his execution in terms of goal scoring is hit or miss sometimes. He still manages to get those goals, and when he's on form, he is on form. He scores a lot of goals and he's very confident. So that's why I would say Lautaro Martinez, in addition to other players, but definitely he's going to be a key player. He may not score, but he may be key in contributing to maybe a leader player or an assist, and that's why I give him that. Mainly due to consistency, even though it's a very talented squad. So let's head over to AC Milan. AC Milan are currently 5th in Serie A. Like Inter Milan, their form has been tremendously inconsistent. They have been not having the greatest season. They drop some points, and while they don't have the same, I don't think they have the same depth as Inter. I'm not saying Inter has the deepest squad ever, but I think AC Milan it's a little bit deficient. But as I said, let's head into their campaign so far. They have been inconsistent in Serie A, but in the Champions League, they did really well. They did have a tricky tie, a difficult time against Chelsea, but eventually they got out, coming second in their group. And then they got past Tottenham, which I thought was equally impressive against Conte and his men, a team that's familiar with them. I felt like with Cristiano Romero and Perisic and these types of guys in Lloris, Harry Kane, I thought that Conte may have just had that edge on them. But kudos to Stefano Pioli, who is just as tactically flexible as Inzaghi. He also gets a lot of criticism, but I think his flexibility and Inzaghi's are what's going to make this tie very exciting. He loves to play that 4-2-3-1 formation. He's not afraid to play 3 at the back, and it has been very impressive. Now, what really impresses me is his handling of informed Napoli to get to this stage of the competition. Napoli were blowing everybody away. They won the Scudetto, as we said before. Spalletti and his men look like the favorites, but maybe some injuries and some cleverness by Pioli. Pioli has shown that he's not afraid to lock things down. Players like Theo Hernandez and the individual brilliance of Rafael Leao, combined with other players, you have Giroud and so on, has been really great. And the goalkeeper as well has been fantastic. And I think while they have been inconsistent, just like Inter Milan, I think the ability to use various tactics has served them well, and they locked things down against Napoli and they got the result that they needed, knocking out what I think was a more informed and an actual better team. But it shows you how tactics can really work to your advantage. Plus, Napoli having injuries kind of hurt them a little bit. It just didn't look as potent. And I'll be honest, AC Milan was a team that kind of knocked them off their perch. And Napoli kind of stuttered ever since, but they eventually won the title. How Napoli likes to play, how AC Milan likes to play, as I mentioned before, they like that 4-2-3-1 formation, but they can switch to 3 at the back, and I think that makes them I don't think they're as flexible as other teams, but they are very comfortable in this system. And it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but it's because I'm saying this because Inter Milan and AC Milan are teams that are very interesting and they play to their strengths. And I think the formation works to their benefit with Giroud up front, and I honestly believe that they are not afraid to really tighten things up at the back, which is something they will need against a team like Inter Milan. Now, the last time they faced off, as I said, it was a convincing win for Inter Milan. Inter Milan got the better of them in the last 2 games. But I really think on a one-off game, the question a lot of people are asking is the pedigree of AC Milan. They've won 7 Champions Leagues. They have a lot of pedigree. Will that pedigree of the past benefit these players now? Now, maybe in the past when it was still Ancelotti and you still had Maldini and Cafu and Stam and all these brilliant players, Alessandro Nesta, Shevchenko, they had that winning culture already. But this is kind of like a new team. So they're trying to cement their legacy, very much like Inter Milan. Can the legacy of AC Milan performing well in the Champions League benefit the team, or will it not benefit the team? That is the question I ask. I personally don't think so, but I think it can't help having people around the club that have done this before. You have Maldini up in the stands, but that who knows? It could mean nothing at the end of the day. But that's a question I put to you guys. What do you think? And of course, we're going to head over to our key players. Rafael Leao, for me, this is a very difficult decision because I really like Hernandez. I think Giroud as well has been crucial. But and even the goalkeeper as well. But I would have to go with Rafael Leao. I think his athleticism, technical ability, individual brilliance, and speed. He's fast. But not just fast, but he's effective. There's a lot of fast players that are not effective, that can single-handedly, and I know it sounds cliche, decide the outcome of a game. And I think he's very important for this AC Milan team. I think, as we saw in the last Champions League game against Napoli and throughout the season, and even for Portugal, he is a player that can be very effective, especially on the counter-attack. He loves attacking down those wings and cutting in and taking that beautiful shot that we all know. He can take on players, he can draw players, he can draw fouls. And I think he also has a lot of confidence heading into this tournament. So, him playing off Giroud or whatever combination that Pioli decides to use will be very interesting, because if Inter Milan decides to push up and he does a counter-attack, they're going to have to be very effective. And this is why this tie is interesting for me from a tactical perspective, because both coaches are very savvy. They're not very, they're not very unbalanced in terms of attacking too much and leaving gaps at the back, which is what the usual analysis would say. Well, they would be vulnerable on the counter-attack. Of course they are. But I think both teams are really good at controlling the pace of the game. And to me, what that will show is that first game is going to be very, very cagey at the beginning. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who knows? Both teams may come out blazing and attack. But I think these coaches are so brilliant. They can come up with counters for each other. And that's what makes this tie exciting. So let's head into the team form right now for both teams. For the last couple, let's start with Milan. The form in all competitions, they've gotten win, draw, draw, win, draw, draw, and that win against Lazio, which was very important for their domestic campaign and good for confidence. And they stand 5th in Serie A as it stands. Very close. They could easily jump into that top 4 spot easily if results go their way in the upcoming games. Inter Milan have gotten a draw and 5 wins. And obviously the most notable one is against Roma, against Jose Mourinho, the special one. Yes, Roma had injuries, but I think it certainly bodes well for both teams confidence-wise, because leading up to a couple weeks ago, both teams would be struggling domestically. They would lose games, but then they would win in the Champions League. But it seems as if both teams are heading into this, maybe the occasion. They haven't been there in a long time. And like I said at the beginning of this video, let me know the last 2 times these both teams faced off. And there was a notable incident in one of them that I want you all to highlight. Let me know, because if you get it right, I will do a draw, and whoever with the person with the correct answer, I will send them a jersey with a team of choice, wherever you are. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. So both teams, that's their form. I will conclude this by saying a lot has happened this season between both teams. Even though Inter came out 3-0 winners the last time around, AC Milan are 7-time winners. It may not be the same squad, but this is a club that's been there before. Whether that would help or not, or it correlates to success, I'm stuttering, we'll see. But AC Milan and Inter Milan are going to be a very intriguing affair, and based on the tactical knowledge of both teams, and both squads seem to be okay. Although I did see some reports that Leao was injured. I didn't get to see that game. He's going to be a big loss if he doesn't play, but make no mistake, AC Milan does have a lot of solutions heading in there. Outside of that, I think both teams have their full squads. They seem to be confident heading into this match. They're both fired up. AC Milan and Inter Milan is always a massive tie. I know a lot of people talk about the Super Classico with Real Madrid and Barcelona, Boca Juniors, River Plate. Let me know in the comment section below which is your favorite derby or massive matchup. This has always been my favorite. I personally think it's going to be a very narrow, cagey game. And then it's probably going to have a narrow scoreline in the first leg, and then it would open up in the second leg. Of course, I could be totally wrong. That's why it's beautiful. But I think Inter is going to edge. If not, the game is going to be tied in the first leg, but it's going to be narrow. And if it's going to be a win, I think Inter has a slight edge based on form. But as you know, in the knockout competitions, me sitting on the fence here, it could go either way. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Check out our full preview on extvmedia.com, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and also on Twitch. We have our live streams, and be sure to head over to extvmedia.com. Comment in the comment section below. We'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, and suggestions, because we do listen. And I'd like to say a special thank you and congratulations to everybody, because one of our videos have reached over 650,000 views. That's 0.6 million views and growing. The Argentina video where we had the penalty shootout at the World Cup final. As requested, we've put that video. You could check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. We'll also be doing a YouTube version of the full content as requested by people all over the planet. We love it. Send us your comments in your language. We'd love to hear it, and give us your thoughts. So once again, this is Andre Sooklal. Let me know what your thoughts are, and we'll be seeing you after the first leg of the Champions League to have our reactions, and maybe have some guests to give us their thoughts. So this is Andre Sooklal, and thank you for joining us.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.